Now, a huge number of Scottish football fans have become familiar with an obscure section of income tax law over recent years, since HMRC took an interest in the goings-on at Rangers. But now the Revenue have told more than 2,500 Scots they owe backdated money because they used a similar loophole to those so-called EBT schemes.
Some people have been told they owe tens of thousands of pounds in unpaid tax after receiving payments in the form of loans. The cases stretch back to up to 20 years. Our political correspondent Rajdeep Sandhu reports.
Protesters outside Westminster, this time not about Brexit. This protest in February was about changes to the tax rules. Some people who are self-employed are facing bills of tens of thousands of pounds because the taxman is cracking down on what it says is tax avoidance.
You go along thinking everything's fine, you submit your tax return, you don't hear anything back, you forget about it. And then up to 20 years later, you hear on the news, you get a letter potentially telling you that you owe life-changing sums of money.
Amy Ross is also facing a big bill, and the thought of it is wearing her out.
I'm just tired. You just think about it all the time. You can't really switch off from it. And it's exhausting, and you kind of wake up, throughout the night going, oh God, what am I going to do? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? It's just all consuming, really.
Got a retrospective effect, whether it's retroactive or
the government is coming under increasing pressure from MPs, including Conservative backbenchers, to look again at the issue.
No one disputes the government having the right to change policy and to say that actually we think this is a bit of a loophole and actually let's close it. The issue that people have had, and I hope that came through in the debate, was that you can't then go back and say now we want this. You can always go down fighting.
He's part of a group of MPs investigating the issue and say they've been told about suicides linked to the loan charge.
Quite clearly, there are a number of situations whereby you could point the finger at the loan charge being one of the main contributing factors to somebody feeling that they have no other option but to take their own life, and that's deeply sad and that's really troubling.
I really don't know. I try not to think about that, to be honest with you, because it's just, it's just such silly sums of money. It's like playing Monopoly. Yeah, I try not to think about it. I don't think I'd get out of bed in the morning if I really gave it too much thought, to be honest with you.
Right, Rajdeep's with us now. And Rajdeep, apologies in advance for the curveball first question, but it's the crux of all this. Were these loopholes legal or not?
Yeah, that is the million-dollar question, Martin. And the thing is, it's not completely clear. So campaigners and people caught up in this will say, well, when they got involved, they asked professionals and they were told it's totally fine, it's legit, don't worry, you won't get in trouble. And they filed their tax returns every year, and HMRC never said anything. The UK tax authority saying, oh, actually what you're doing there is not quite right. But what the UK government would say is, hang on, we never endorsed these schemes. We never told you it was okay to be part of these schemes. And actually, it's up to everybody to pay their fair share of tax to pay for public services. So it is a grey area. And actually, it seems that the biggest issue of contention is around the fact that this change has been brought in. And instead of it saying, from now on, people caught in these schemes going forward will pay an extra charge, it's looking also backwards, up to 20 years backwards. So you could have been doing your tax returns from 2004 and now you're getting a tax bill for it. So causing huge contention.
So perhaps not surprising that people feel hard done by over this, but there's some really serious dark stuff in there as well. The prospect of people potentially taking their own lives over this.
Some people had committed suicide and they linked that to the loan charge. It does raise lots of concerns around how this policy has been implemented and the impact it's having on people and whether there actually needs to be more support for them.
Sure, Rajdeep, thank you very much indeed for that.